this is not an exercise. We genuinely think there is a possibility that a man may actually be floating in the water somewhere. Two ratings who were passing aft down the port side of the upper deck saw someone coming towards them. They also saw a big wave coming and so ducked back for cover. When they looked again, the space was empty.
He was carrying a torch and he had a white top on. They don't know about his trousers, they just saw the white top, the reflection of his torch.
So he could have been in either night clothing, half clothes, or he could conceivably have been in cook's whites. Okay, please. We have a marker in the water which was put there within a few minutes of the chap disappearing over the side. There was obviously a time delay between the chaps reporting to the bridge. We also have a plot running in the operations room with the position marked, so we can get back to about the same position. We can send the helicopter there very quickly to search that particular area, and this, we also have our destroyers in company who will search that area. Would you excuse me?
The senior engineer, sir, from you.
Right, thank you. I must go.
There must be a possibility, therefore, that somebody has been washed over the side. For this reason, we can call Thimble Hunt, the helicopters are being scrambled and the seabird is available, although the weather is foul.
Fortunately, it proved to be a false alarm, but it was a very genuine false alarm, i.e. the ratings who made the report did so in good faith, and I might say with a certain amount of moral courage. I mean, they were in doubt. They knew the sort of furore that would follow that sort of report, but they still reckoned that there was a possibility and they should report it, and they did.
The main problem is that on this ship is that most of us are graduates. I still get the impression that I'm still at college, still at school, while I'm under training, and that I'm not doing a full day's work.
That's especially true of graduates there, because it seems to us that we've been under training for so long.
I expect to come out in the big wide world, get a fairly responsible job, and yet I'm standing time at the moment.
And there's no responsibility as an officer under training, is there?
That's right.
You come to a ship and you start to talk to people, and they say, oh, what department do you belong to? And you say, I'm an officer under training. And they seem to sort of shy back, being on such a large ship as this. They tend to sort of shy back, and they don't really want to mix with you as often, as much. Say, if you were to say, well, I'm a pilot on 824.
What I think I possibly find annoying is having to keep silence when perhaps a guy's unjustified in making a criticism, and you're not allowed to answer back. Although, well, for everyone, but especially for graduates, your instinct is to say, well, that's not right, you don't know all the circumstances.
No young officer who's any good at all ever feels he's got enough responsibility. And of course, I mean, he reckons that he could easily be captain of the ship tomorrow, if given half a chance, and the silly old buggers who are running the ship at the moment aren't half as good as he would be if he were the boss. And I mean, I certainly remember thinking that I could have done with far more responsibility. And I really think that's quite a healthy sign. It becomes unhealthy if they sort of become arrogant and think that there's nothing that they can learn. But if it's just sort of eagerness to assume responsibility, that's fine.
Hello. Yeah. Hello, Chris. Take a view.
Thanks. Some journals for the captain from Lieutenant Devine.
Right. Lovely. Thanks so
mine,
much.
I'm afraid.
Okay, well, what I do with these, I in fact read them through fairly carefully. I find out when the captain last saw it, and I'll take it up to him. When we're at sea, I may or may not have a chance to talk to him about it, but I just stick a tab in saying, Captain for signature, last seen on a certain day.
The journals are a number of essays on various subjects. Starting this year, I did essays on Ulster, the Dutch wars in the 17th century, because we were operating with Dutch warships at the time. I sometimes think that it's somewhat superfluous for graduates, especially in art subjects, to do these essays, since they've had experience at university. I myself did about 200 essays when I was at Oxford.
Roger. Good. Thanks very much. Bye.
Second center board.
What was 3-2's problem?
Low thruster.
No thrust again.
Low thrust.
Low thrust.
Permanent, sir.
Roger, they'll have to do better before we get to Mayport.
They're asking 30 knots.
David Morgan's just been saying the sea temperature's dropped. Did you
Yes.
say that 10 degrees?
Yes, they think the Labrador current has come down.
Yeah, we've sort of got into it.
inshore,
So,
inshore of the Gulf Stream.
We've
and
got
lowered
to
the
watch this.
temperature.
That's right. Because the air temperature's now up a bit. And the last thing we want to do is to find ourselves running into fog.
Well, this morning we're going to have a quick look at our electrical power and distribution system. Call this compartment the main switchboard, and from here we can control our DC system. This display here and this particular part represents our ring main. Power cables.
Going around the other departments in training, one has to bear in mind that a lot of things on this ship are sensational by everyday standards because of the flying. On the other hand, a lot of things are boring. I had a lecture on the main switchboard, which quite frankly nearly sent me to sleep.
Here you see we've got a steam turbine, 1,250 kilowatts, and here's supply from a diesel generator, 750 kilowatts.
Switchboards, I mean, it might be somebody's cup of tea, but not mine, unfortunately.
And the fourth, another steam turbine, 1,250 kilowatts. This is one of our steam turbine generator compartments. This is an AC generator, 440 volts, 1.25 megawatts. You can see.
Approximately half a ton weight, most of which is high explosive and rocket motor. The rocket motor and the warhead are both electrically initiated, so we have to take the appropriate electrical precautions.
The missile section is a section apart, really. For me, it's the high point of the ship, because the officers and ratings down there are so professional, and they play a vital role in the carrier's role as a strike ship. The missile which we saw, the Martel, I've got a lot of admiration for. Technical achievement and its use as a weapon.
They also found that the warhead tends to leak a mixture of explosive and filling.
Oh, it's all happening now. Yeah. Anything else to watch?
I'm very largely protected from all the boring paperwork, and most of the paperwork that actually reaches me is quite interesting. I think a lot of it's to do with people, and that people are interesting. I mean, a lot of the confidential reports on officers and confidential reports on ratings.
Yes.
That's jolly good, and I think if you make it, that is just over-egging the pudding. Today, there are 4 of our ratings who are going to go to the Admiralty Interview Board to try and become officers, and this is something which is interesting, and it's worth taking trouble about.
Yeah, good. Okay, thanks so much. Thanks, sir.
Coulton, CW candidate.
Oh, yeah. Is he yours?
Turner's mine, yes. The others.
Yeah. What's he done with the bloody bum?
I'm going to see if he's round the back, sir.
Yeah, I don't know where he was. The secretary. Yeah, because I had the papers here, and now he's gone off.
Rich?
Let's have the papers.
following him.
Here's the 5.
Sorry, no, let's start again. Cool. Yeah.
When you want to say something, say it. Don't beat around the bush, trying to make it all airy-fairy. Advising people on English O-level. That's the nearest I've come to actually fulfilling my role as an officer, I felt. And descriptions, again, vitally important. If you want to look at some really good descriptive material, go to the letters section of Mayfair. No, I'm not kidding you, because in there you'll find the best descriptive prose, I should think, in English literature today. Because you'll notice how it gets you all worked up, you know, that's and the other. And you can just imagine what it's like there.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll give him the dummy board here in the ship before he goes and give him sort of encouragement and help and hope that he comes good when he gets there.
All right, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, sir.
Captain, close to us.
Yeah.
Reducing the slow head for 5 minutes while they spread the blade to the seeking.
Roger. It sounds a bit corny, but getting things like human relations right is really the most important part of the job, because if the guys on board are happy, the chances are they'll be reasonably efficient and work hard as well. I mean, obviously my aim is to have an efficient fighting ship, but I believe that I'm unlikely to achieve that unless I have a happy ship's company. So I do think that the sort of, if you like, the happiness and well-being of the ship's company, and of course all the officers, all the people on board, is really my major sort of requirement.
What's that? Buoyancy.
And is this the way it was? I mean, you haven't cleaned it up, have you?
No, I just took out the bottom parts.
Yeah, well, quite a mess. Quite a mess. Yeah, well, it looks to me as though it must have been fairly rotten before it started, quite honestly. We all set for flying?
No, sir, we've got a man in the loft at the moment. Loft.
Oh.
So we're at reduced steam pressure. I've just chased up the bridge and they're back coming down to collect the tallies and I can carry on going.
I have come across one or two people who didn't recognise me at all and didn't know who I was. And not so long ago, down one of the boiler rooms, I was talking to one of the chaps down there, and I said something about having been, I was a gunnery officer and therefore I was half deaf anyhow. And he said, well, if you're a gunnery officer, what on earth are you doing on board this ship? And then I said, well, I was the captain now, and he really was quite taken aback because he didn't realise that's what I was at all.
But what you've got to be very careful of, so when a man does come off like that, you'll get the chap that gets to the bottom of the gangway, shrugs himself, he knows he's got to get past you and get inboard, squares himself off, comes up the gangway, salutes, produces identity cards, knows who he is, and then he goes for it to turn in. But once after making the initial effort of getting over the gangway, he'll go down to the mess, and his 3 parts cut anyway. He's the danger man. He gets laid on his back. During the course of the night, he vomits, swallows his tongue. The following morning, you've more or less got to break his legs to get him out of his bunk. He dies through asphyxiation. It's a farce, this business about you lock a bloke up. It's a punishment, he's got to be charged. No, it's for the boy's safety, for the man's safety, that you lock a man up.
To protect him from further offences.
Protective custody, so that's it in a nutshell. It's protective custody, it's to stop him committing himself further. This is all it's for. And, I mean, you may lock him up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, at 6 o'clock, you go up and see him, what you like now, Smith? Or, you know, I've been a bloody fool, so I'm all right. And you let him out and give him a good talking to and say, well, look, come on. Bloody grow up. You're acting like a big girl. Now come on, let's get with it. And he'll say, well, I'm sorry, sir, I'm sorry for all the trouble, you know, and you admit it, tell the leading hand, keep an eye on him, and the kid's all right, but it's for his benefit. You're looking after him, you're not letting him commit himself so he's got a string of charges against him as long as you're around. It's no good. You know, it's just no good.
So how do we define drunk?
Well, you see, the definition of drunkenness...
Sometimes people will say things to me and it will go in one ear and out the other, and it won't affect me. But in talking to somebody like the Fleet Master at Arms, who is in fact junior to me in rank, I must say I feel very humbled when he tells me things, the experiences, and the authority with which he says it as well. He's so confident. He calls me sir, and it seems very odd. I must admit I feel slightly uncomfortable. He knows so much. There's nothing on the ship which goes on that the Fleet Master at Arms doesn't know about.
A good yardstick, sir, is would you, as an officer, be prepared to have this man as a part of your fire and emergency party? Would you like to send him into a compartment that you know is burning? You get various types of chaps that drink and various types of behaviour. There's different behaviour patterns. You get one chap that comes off, the only thing he wants to do is get his head down. You get another chap that'll come off and he wants to serenade the officer of the watch. And you get another one that very occasionally, very rare really, that he gets to be a nasty bastard. And he wants to have a go at the officer watch. Well, the thing then, of course, is that the gangway staff, they'll be there and they'll say, right, sunshine, come on with me.
So the thing is, keep out of the way?
Well, as much as possible. So you know, you've had the finest training there is, sir, and you enlarge on it by your experience, and it'll come to you. It comes to everybody by experience. 99%, sir, it's bloody common sense. Yes. It is, honestly, it's common sense.
Well, we can't really write about what we've been doing, can we? How can you write about 4 hours down the stokehold?
Because that's right, Wednesday journals, isn't it?
Wednesday? That's all I need, that is, this week.
That's all right.
Look, I've got watches every other day, completion of my task book for WE on Friday, and that test on Saturday.
You've done it all, haven't you? You've had enough time.
Yeah.
You got on watch now, then, are you?
4 o'clock.
What watch you're on the bridge, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's all right, nice and quiet up there.
Oh, yeah.
Bridge ops, flight code change,
He's a Russian intelligence gatherer, and he's been around for all the exercise, I think. But this is the first time he's been as close as this to us.
Top bridge report, Charlie.
He won't be able to go as fast as we can, so he won't be able to get very close. And they're normally very good at keeping close, but keeping out of the way at the same time. So I don't think he'll bother us.
What do we hold at 140?
140, stand by. Clock bridge. What was the last known course of Misha?
We've still got the AGI in station.
Yes, sir. On our starboard beam, sir. We are coming starboard to north, sir.
Is whoever it is deliberately riding him off, or is it just happening that way?
It's just happening that way, so it's Misha.
Mitchell. Oh, well, it'll give him something to think about.
Right, officer, what you do? Take the con. Roger. Ask the plot if they can give you a surface sit rep.
Plot bridge. Give me a surface sit rep. It is exciting having the con. It's the largest ship in the Navy, and not many of my contemporaries would have the chance to give an order, although my order is backed up by the authority of the Officer Watch 1, which swings a 50,000-ton carrier in a different direction. That's the appealing part of it.
Right, alter course to 160, steady on course, 160.
Starboard 5.
Starboard 5.
But unfortunately one knows that as soon as anything happens, one is going to have to hand over to the Officer Watch 1. Roger, concur. I'm looking forward to the day when I get the responsibility.
Right, fetch it back to 155.
Port 10.
Port 10.
Altering 155.
Altering 155.
Senior officers tend to be very critical. They seem to think that things which are commonplace to them can immediately be seen by junior officers. When the captain's on the bridge, one feels nervous, afraid to make a mistake, because he is a very senior captain in the Navy, and he has an odd way of twitching his eyebrow when he's displeased.
Stop the swing. Midships.
Midships.
Give this course.
Steer 155.
Steer 155. Course 155 by Bravo, Simpson.
Very good.
Very good.
Midships.
Steer 160.
Steer 160.
Oh, that's all right. So you get, free travel. Well, you need it anyway, running around. Well, but how many miles do you put on a month?
Dick, two Dicks, can you come over here if you want your ill-gotten gains?
It's nice, isn't it? Oh my gosh. What's she doing with this thing?
Keep it
rather smutty.
That's where I run short.
Must be a couple of men all this.
There's only one men only, but I had 2 Mayfairs, men only, Playboy. Actually, it's some remains. You may as well have a lot. And that's last year's calendar. But the pictures are just as good. Are you going to write for Phil?
1 by 90 pence.
That's nice. Well, see you play with us?
Didn't I do well?
I read that, Master.
Can't see that.
I recognised it. Oh, no, that's nothing on the state, sunshine. Nothing on the state.
What? That's an idea you're all from.
Collins, Dalton, Henderson, do the prenups, okay? Get them all organised. Hey then. Come on, Dalton, if you walk any slower, you head up for him for tuning. Right, come on in now, lads, and start getting this gear out of the pantry, pre-lay the table, check your services again, just to make sure that none of your oppos has nicked anything off you. Because this is what happens. Right, get everybody in. Come on, lads, gather round. There's that piece of paper with all the service points on it. Come on in, lads, in we come. Get everybody in. Everybody out? Yep. Right, tonight, mess dinner. You all know what mess dinner is, you've all done it before. It's the same routine right the way throughout the Navy. Collins, do not shake your head. I want this to go down well, because a few officers tonight leaving the ship for the last time. Right, 130 covers, 13 sevens of 10. The A steward of each service is in charge. You do what he tells you, all right? And if you don't, and he lets me know, you can stand from under. Right now, sauce with the savoury. A does that again, okay? Then we clear the table, and we clear it quietly. Then during the loyal toast, I want you to come to attention and keep quiet. Then we'll home in with the dessert, coffee, cigarettes and the cigars. Any queries, see either me or one of the POs, or the chap in charge of the watch. All right? And another thing I don't want is the old slouchy round the boardroom, nose picking, ass scratching, all right? And nothing to your oppos. Okay? Be smart. You all know your job. I know you know your job. So let's prove to the officers that we know it. Great. Quick smoke, empty your bowels, okay?
And we found him 3 days later under a hedge in a local park, having been on a massive venture.
The social life of the wardroom. I do miss that because I must say I've always enjoyed that a lot. And that is something which doesn't happen. On the other hand, I've usually found there's something else that is occupying me at the time one of these sort of functions is on, so I don't feel too much like sort of little Jack Horner left out in the cold. And also I think probably as the years roll by, these pursuits of youth become slightly left behind.
Stands all fairly innocent, and we think of our lives in the bar or our bar.
Attention to this!
David, should I get it?
O Lord, who bless the loaves and fishes, be present now to bless our dishes, and may our souls be ever fed on thee, the true, the living bread. Amen. Amen.
I don't think there's much time to get lonely, quite honestly. You're really quite glad to have just a little peace and quiet, and even then the chances are the broadcast will go and the officer watch will call you.
Yep.
A signal containing the provisional promotion certificate.
Oh, good. Okay, I'll bring it out.
Oh,
thanks. Yeah.
Yep.